Our guest tonight is a former Premiership footballer, Fabrice Muamba. He came to worldwide attention when he collapsed on the pitch at White Hart Lane in London as his side, Bolton Wanderers, played Tottenham Hotspur. Fabrice's heart stopped beating for a full 78 minutes during the FA Cup tie, but he was rushed to hospital where he made an astonishing recovery. Fabrice now campaigns to prevent deaths from sudden cardiac arrests. Fabrice, gives us great pleasure to welcome you to Global Sports Report. Before we get to your campaigning work and your thoughts on, of course, modern-day football, could you just tell us your recollections on that day, which basically changed your life forever?
For me, it was a normal day. I'm looking forward to go and play a game of football. I wasn't involved in the starting 11 for a couple of weeks, so the manager announced during the week that I'll be playing. So I got myself in a good frame of mind that going to the game, I'm trying to perform to the best of my ability. We reached the stadium fine, and I spoke to my dad the day before, and I spoke to him the day, on the same day before the game. And I was just looking forward to play the game, and out of nowhere, I felt very, very dizzy during the game. And my recollection that when I focus on somebody, my vision becomes very blurred. And the first time I hit the floor, the second time, that's when I was literally gone, really. And from there, I couldn't remember anything. Next time I woke up, I was in hospital wearing a white dressing gown, I say.
And of course, incredibly, that match was televised at FA Cup tie.
Yes.
Have you ever steeled yourself to watch the footage, or you have seen the live footage?
I've seen the footage. So, it's something that I just wanted to get off my chest. I've been told when you're gonna see it. One day I decided, when nobody was around me, I just took time and I watched, and as I said many times before, I was very lucky and I was fortunate enough that I had an unbelievable medical team around me that helped me to recover very quickly. And
you were forced to retire in 2012 due to medical advice. Firstly, how difficult a decision was that? And how has the transition been from leading Premiership footballer to trying to forge a career post-football?
The decision was pretty much easy because of the way my heart has been damaged. It wasn't worth the risk to go back there and trying to play football again. So once I had a free consultation from the top cardiologists around the world, and the decision was just easy to make sure that I stay healthy, and they decided to call it a day in terms of football. But in terms of moving from not playing football and to do something different, I've been fortunate enough that so many people around football have offered me works and opportunities to be involved in the game, and I'm very grateful and thankful that I'm still much more involved in the game in some shape or form as well.
And it's probably an obvious question, but do you miss football? Do you miss the camaraderie of the dressing room?
I mean that's something that you can't. It's hard to say you don't miss it. I do miss it. I do miss the banter. I do miss the atmosphere that you get the day before the game or the day on the game. The atmosphere that you get when you lose the game and when you win the game at the same time. So that's something that you just can't miss. But I'm fortunate enough that I have an opportunity in front of me. Then I'll move on to something different. But I'm still much so involved in the game of football as well.
Yeah, as you said, you are involved in the game of football. I understand you're doing work for the PFA. But also tell us about some of the campaigning work. I understand you're trying to ensure that there are no deaths in football from sudden cardiac arrest. Do you want to tell us about the work you're doing there?
The campaign is pretty much, just to raise awareness of sudden cardiac arrest and making sure that everybody have access to defib, and the defib is available in the public place. And I think the same way fire extinguisher is available in every building, why not we want a defib to be available in every public place? Because you give somebody a chance to survive a sudden cardiac arrest, whether it's in a train station or in a normal building or in a bus stop or somewhere like that. But I think it's important that the defib to be available, and also to teach kids in school the CPR, and also make sure that they also know how to use the defib at the same time.
And have you felt that the FA are supportive of the work you're doing? I noticed that you did speak to the press perhaps last year, and you said that more should be done, more could be done to try and prevent fateful incidents like Mark Vivian Foe, and I remember the player for Seville, he died as well.
The Premier League, the PFA and the FA have really took on board exactly regarding my suggestion on a sudden cardiac arrest. I think it's more aware that, like you see in the Premier League, they have four doctors now in every single game, and there's always a ambulance access to the ground is more clearer than it was before, And I think that message is gone out there. It's clear, and everybody understands exactly what it's taking in order to save somebody from sudden cardiac arrest. And
you've talked about the work you've done with the PFA. You're also advising young players about what happens when their career suddenly, abruptly comes to an end. Is that difficult, trying to talk to players who are on huge money and can't even imagine that their career would suddenly come to an abrupt halt?
With the PFA work, I work in the education department, and we go around football club and we speak to the first and second year scholars about Plan B. And at a time, it's very difficult to speak to a young man who's 17 and who's earning a lot amount of money. But also you have to tell them, I was like them, I've been there and I've done it all. And you just have to be aware that it's not all guarantee you're going to be a footballer. You're still on this early journey, but just be aware that there's other things out there. There's other opportunity. You're one injury away from this career to be, taken away from you. So you've got to be really think carefully and open your mind to different things, and also just have that plan B that maybe just one day, because the football club moves on. Players get better. They might not want you. You might go somewhere else. They don't want you. I mean, you've got to go and retire, do something different. And that's my advice to most young players.
And obviously, as you said, you have retired. But how has your recovery been? Have you made a full recovery, or are you on any kind of medication at the moment? Or?
I'm on 2 medication. Then before when I came out of hospital, I was on about 8. Now, so I mean, there's been a huge progress out there in terms of. Opportunity has been great, but I think recovery-wise, I'm allowed to exercise, but not to the extent that I used to do when I was playing football. But I mean, exercise-wise, it's a minimum to an extent, but also, tablet-wise, it's just once a day. That's it, really.
Okay, Fabrice, you take a breather. Well, rejoining me is the former Premiership footballer Fabrice Muamba. Fabrice, the big game is obviously at Anfield, the lunchtime kickoff on Saturday. Chelsea, tabletoppers, unbeaten. Let's talk about Liverpool, though. Lots of pressure. They've had back-to-back losses. The manager, Brendan Rodgers, also under pressure. What did you think of the team he put out against Real Madrid? Left out Sterling, Gerrard and Coutinho?
I think this is the situation at Liverpool at the moment. I think he felt more advanced that he wanted to think about the Chelsea game rather than the Real Madrid game, because Liverpool don't look like they're going to qualify for the next stage of the Champions League. So it was best to rest people like Gerrard, Henderson and Raheem Sterling, and to focus on more the big game against Chelsea, because what has happened last year against Chelsea at Anfield, I don't think he wants the same repeat this year again.
And do you think, you talked about last year's game, that infamous slip, Steven Gerrard, many will say that cost Liverpool the title. Have Liverpool recovered ever since that moment? Because they haven't been able to hit their strides this season, have they?
The situation with Liverpool this year is that they've not been able to replace Suarez. I think that's the problem with Liverpool, and everybody kind of assessed that how they played the game. Last year they didn't have no Champions League games,
sure.
So they had a week to recover and a week to plan the game. Whereas this year it's a Champions League game against Real Madrid on Tuesday, and it's a Chelsea game on Saturday and an early kickoff. So it's a different task, and you're asking a lot from the boys, and for them to be able to cope and to recover quickly, being able to perform on Saturday.
So has Brendan Rodgers, most of the buys to try and replace Suarez, have you say most of them haven't worked yet?
I mean, the pressure is on Mario Balotelli to score goals, and there's Ricky Lambert. Those guys have not been able to hit the ground running as we all expect them to do. When you play for a top club like Liverpool, we expect you to score goals. They expect you to create chances, to bring fears to defenders. I don't think those guys have been able to do that. And
would you say Balotelli was a bad buy? £60 million. He still hasn't scored in the Premiership. Particularly his track record. He seems to make headlines off the pitch rather than not on it. Was it a good buy by Rodgers?
Well, it's too early on the season. I think you could have a good judgment on Mario probably when come to December time, where we think, well, he's not really a scorer as we expect him to score. Then from there we can make a judgment on him. Right now, Brendan Rodgers is still chopping and changing his team. He's always bringing Ricky Lambert on, or start with him, or drop Mario Balotelli. So he's always chopping and changing. Till December, then we'll have a good idea where Liverpool are and why Mario Balotelli is not scoring enough goals.
OK, let's talk about Chelsea, who have fewer problems. They struggled midweek, didn't they, against NK Maribor. Jose Mourinho, the manager, was pretty angry with the way his team went about it. Will we see a different Chelsea to what we saw last season at Anfield, where Brendan Rodgers said they parked 2 buses. Do you expect Mourinho to be a little bit more attacking at Anfield?
Yeah, definitely. Because Mourinho has got more attacking players now than he had last season. You know, you've got Oscar, you've got Fabregas, you've got Hazard, who are literally playing some of the best football we've seen in the Premier League this year. And I think they're going to Anfield full of confidence. They're unbeaten in the league, and they've not dropped a point anywhere else. You know, so for them, they've got nothing to lose. They'll go out there and to play the best way. They've got their bench is equally as good as Liverpool starting 11. So they're going towards this game full of confidence, believing that they can actually win the game.
OK, let's turn to the Manchester games, because they head into this weekend's game with problems of their own. United, who are languishing in 10th place in the table, host Crystal Palace, looking to shake off their derby defeat to Manchester City, while City, who lost to CSKA Moscow, which all but killed off their Champions League campaign, travelled to QPR. Fabrice, which Manchester manager is under more pressure, would you say? Van Gaal, this is the worst start by a United manager, I think, since 1986, while Pellegrini, pretty much out of the Champions League, 6 points behind Chelsea. Which manager is under pressure more?
From what I believe, I think Pellegrini has got more pressure because they gave him so much backing from the people upstairs. However, Van Gaal, he knew the system, and I think the whole of Manchester knew that what they get himself into. So in Manchester United, you have a better judgment of them next season rather than this season. You know, I think Man City, they've not been performing. They've been hit and miss at time, and they've not been creating as much chance as you expect them to do. And you know, the game against CSKA Moscow on Wednesday, it was just not good enough to the team of their ability, to the player they've got.
And also their captain, Vincent Kompany, who slammed the team. He's out. He's missing his first Premiership game. The defence has looked shaky with him in it. You think without him, it could be a bit of a shambles.
Well, you know, with Kompany, he brings so much to the table, too much to the team. He's a leader. He wants to win every single game. Unfortunately, this game he won't be able to play. So that also means it gives an opportunity for another player to come in and to do a good job, if not better than Vincent. But that remains to be seen, because Vincent has set a higher standard. But that also means other players in Man City have to rise and deliver and be a good team player as well.
And quickly turning to United, there'll be no Radamel Falcao. He misses another game for United. Is this perhaps proving to be a suspect purchase, or is it still too soon?
I think it's too soon to put a big judgment on Radamel Falcao, because his record proved that he's top goal scorer. We know what he's capable of doing. I think if he can recover from his injury, once he's injury-free, and we see what he's capable of doing, hopefully we have a better judgment on him come January, when everybody is injury-free and we can see what Falcao is really made of. And
we're rapidly running out of time. Just going to ask you one final question. Who's your pick for the Premiership this year?
For me, it's Chelsea all the way.
Chelsea all the way.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like they are going to, at the moment, run away with the title. Absolute pleasure, Fabrice, having you here on the Global Sports Show.